welcome back to Athletic Everyday, day number 44. So that cold has finally hit me. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but my throat is completely jammed up. My sinuses are all blocked and I'm struggling to breathe at the moment. But in spite of that, I thought that this workout went quite well, actually. Thoroughly enjoyed doing it. I actually managed to get my first close grip muscle ups, which you may have already seen or may not. I uploaded it as a short before I upload this. And I also hit a 4 RM PR on the strict press. So up until this week, I've been doing 62.5 kilos for 5 reps of 4. And this week I hit my first set of 4 with 65 kilos. And what is significant about that is that 65 kilos actually used to be my 1 RM in the strict press. So that does show some pretty significant progression, that my old 1 RM is now my 4 RM. So I would like to keep that trajectory going. I've only got another week of this style of workout to do before I move from strict press into push press, as I've been saying and hyping up over the last few weeks. But I would be very interested to see how even this slight gain of strength in the strict press translates into the push press, and then ultimately at the end of this jump program into my split jerk and my power jerk, and obviously my clean and jerk. And I think I'm kind of hopeful, and again I've got a sort of loosely sort of evidence-based hopefulness for why I think my split jerk might actually go up, because if you increase your upper body strength, your upper body vertical pushing strength, then it should also follow then that the overhead portion of the movement, I know most of the power comes from the legs, but I've also been training jumping quite a bit. And what is a split jerk but a vertical jump? It's a very, very upright vertical jump. I know that when you jump for dunking or when you do a standing vertical jump, it's a bit more of a hingy movement. You'll have a lot more hip flexion. You get deeper into a hip flexion range of motion, and you don't necessarily do that in the jerk. But all of the similar physical characteristics come from jumping. You get the same amount of rate of force development. You still get that power and explosiveness from vertical jump. So I'm sort of hopeful for how this carries over to my split jerk and my overhead portions of the movements. I have no idea if this will transfer over to snatch. I'm fully aware that my snatch probably will have gone down by quite a bit, because I haven't been training it at all, and if you don't use it, you lose it. It's one of the main principles of training. And another thing that I noticed is my sort of shoulder shift that you see when I'm sort of on the grindy reps on the overhead press. It really has decreased. So as you see now, this is the first set of 65 here. On these first few reps, there's no shoulder shift at all. And if you go back and look at my old 65 kilo 1 RM strict press, there was a really, really big shoulder shift where my left shoulder sort of pops up, and I try and distribute that weight onto my stronger arm, which is my right arm. But it only happens on not even this rep here. I think this is the 3rd rep. No, this is the 4th rep. But obviously as the sets go on, it does get slightly worse and worse and worse. But when I did the last 3 sets, the first 2 sets, I managed to get 4 reps perfectly, really, really good form. I think maybe the last rep on the 2nd set was a little bit of a struggle, and there was a tiny bit of a shoulder shift. But then when I tried the 3rd set, I didn't get 4 reps. I tried to go for the 4th, but it only got up to like my chin, maybe my nose. So what I decided to do after that was to do sets of 3 and get the same number of reps in, so to get the exact same number of reps and volume in with 65 kilos as I would have done if I'd done 5 sets of 4. So all in all in this workout, I did get 20 reps in. But for the last 3 sets, I did 3 sets of 3. So that would have been 9 reps. And then on the last rep, to counteract the fatigue, the residual fatigue would have been building up from the first, I guess that's 5 sets now. I did a 6th set as a cluster set of just 1 rep at a time. So I did 1 rep with 65, rested for about 35 to 40 seconds, did another rep with 65, rested for about 35 to 40 seconds, and I did a last rep with 65. And cluster sets are a fantastic way of maintaining a high intensity for more volume, but not having to deal with fatigue. So if you're doing, it mainly works for longer sets or when you're working sort of higher percentage of your 1RM. But if you do it, it does have significant impacts on strength gains. It does allow you to get more volume in with higher intensities without having to worry about the fatigue from extended long sets. A more common place to use it would be if you're doing, say, for example, a set of 6 or maybe a set of 8 with a pretty heavy percentage of your 1RM. It would make sense to do that in cluster sets of 2. So you do a set of 2, rest, set of 2, rest, and then the final set of 2. And that rest period in between, when you do a cluster set, it actually gives your body a chance to recover and allow the phosphocreatine stores to replenish, so that when you get into that next set or the next cluster set within the overall set, it allows you to be completely fresh. So here's where I'm doing the cluster sets. So the first single, rested for about 35 to 40. Second rep, a bit of a grind. I'm kind of glad that I did the cluster set, because if I tried to do continuous reps, I probably would have struggled. Then I rested again before I moved into the last rep, which is here. And that one moved a little bit better. And you'll notice also my form, given this rest, is way, way better than if I tried to just rep it out and struggle with the last rep. So it also improves the quality of your rests when you do cluster sets. Then I finished with some front lever training. I did straddle front lever, which is the harder progression first. And I'm not 100% on my form here. I think it's pretty rubbish. I always feel like with front lever, you're trying to make a perfectly straight line. If you're looking at my body from the side, I know my legs are kind of up at an angle, but if you look at my body from the side, you want to have as straight a line as possible from your shoulder joint all the way to the end of your toes. That is what a perfect front lever looks like to me. And all of the joints of the body are kind of not locked out, but very, very tight and straight. And I'm quite a way off from that. So the first 2 sets I did straddle front lever hold. Then I moved on to a sort of advanced tuck front lever hold, where it's a bit beyond an advanced tuck front lever because I'm able to hold that. And then on this last set here, I did advanced tuck front lever raises. I usually just do 3 sets of front lever holds, and so I just wanted to add a little bit of progression, a little bit of progressive overload. So I figured I would just do as many tuck front lever raises as I possibly could, or advanced tuck front lever raises as I possibly could, and I ended up getting 7. That is it for me today, and I will catch you guys in the next one.